Hey guys, all the places we're gonna go in our videos together. So we'd make Dr. Steve so proud. Today's chat is all about writing a book, but specifically it's for those of you who are interested in or getting ready to self-publish, or you have that on your mind. For those of you that don't know, I actually self-published 2 books this past year. A book called Oh Goodness, and a Bible study. Oh Goodness, the Bible study. You guys, and my sister took the cover photos. Isn't it awesome? There's a reason, a story behind the picture. So you have to read the book to know about it. But anyways, this isn't about my book. But you need to know I just self-published because I have some tips for those of you that are getting ready to self-publish. Some things that I wish that I knew and some things that you're going to want to know as you kind of just embark on this good old journey of self-publishing. God bless you. So the first tip, I've got 4 tips for you. My first tip, and I'm not being funny, I'm being serious, is I would not try to self-publish 2 books at one time if this is your first time ever doing it. Holy crap, not a good move on my part. Cutting off a little bit more than I could chew. But this one's a little ambitious and thought she could just do it all. We have our limits, and that, especially when it's your first book or your first books, I wouldn't do it at the same time. And I'll tell you why at the end of this video because it will tie into my last tip. Second tip is think about who's going to be editing your book. I was really surprised to find out, as I started self-publishing, I've been able to be in community with some other people that, rub shoulders with other people that are also self-publishing. It just kind of comes with the territory. When you start doing something, you find out somebody else or somebody's else that are doing it, and you stay in community together and you kind of just cheer each other on. That's just kind of how everything works, right? Well, I've been really surprised to find out how little we think about editing our book once we write it. It never was something that wasn't an option for me, mostly because I'm not great at writing books. So I knew that had to happen, but nobody can edit their own work. One, even if you're the best writer on the planet, nobody can. And I have also seen where people have a team of people edit their book. But I would really recommend, because I've also seen that not work, I would really recommend hiring an editor. And the reason why I would recommend that is because it's one person editing, and he or she is editing your work multiple times. So you pay for me, I paid for 3 sessions up front, and she edited first round, gave me the book back. I made my edits, sent it back to her. She edited the next round. I mean, it took a while, but it was worth it because it was one person doing the work, not a bunch of different people saying, hey, I found this grammatical error. I cannot tell you how frustrating that is for you as the author that just wrote this big, gigantic piece of work, and you're finally feeling like, oh, it's done. And then you have 50 people telling you, hey, just so you know, you missed an I in this, or hey, you left a period out, or there's an extra space. It's like, ah! And you can just say, hey, you know what? I have an editor working on that. We're good. It will save you a lot of frustration. And there's so many, at least there's a handful that I know of that are really well qualified and able to do that for you. And what I'll do is at the end of this video, in the comment section, or in the description section, I'm going to give just a list of resources that I recommend, and a part of that will be editors. And also be thinking about So that's 2. Third, be thinking about formatting. This is something that I did not think about at all when it came to self-publishing. And it was terrible. It was terrible. I spent, I'm trying to think if it was a month or like 2 months, just working on the stinking formatting issues of my book. I totally underestimated how much time and energy formatting alone went into publishing a book. So just be prepared. There's really not anything you can do to prepare for it. Just be prepared that it is one of the most difficult steps of publishing a book is formatting. But once you do it your first time, it's like one of those things. First is the worst, second's the best. You're gonna be fine. It's just be prepared that it's a little bit of a hassle. I remember for my brother-in-law's 30th birthday party, so pumped to go, and I got an email from Amazon on our way out the door that there were formatting issues. And I cursed the ground I walk on, and I grabbed my computer and I took it with me, and I worked until it was done at my brother-in-law's 30th birthday party. Thankfully, people were enjoying wine and they didn't really care that I was working, but I was. That's how frustrating it was. Just the constant, you think it's good, then you get an email, it's not good, and you're always on pins and needles until you get the congratulations, your book is formatted correctly. That's not how it said, but that's how it feels. So be prepared for formatting. Tip 4, is marketing. As you are getting ready to publish, oh my gosh, there's so many stages to getting a book out there, isn't there? There's the writing the book, then there's the publishing the book, and that takes work and that takes time. And then there's the marketing the book. And then by the time that you get to the marketing of the book, you're going, just wish that I could be picked up by a publisher because you're tired of doing all the work. But I want to give you some encouragement. There are things that you can do, and it just boils down to strategy. Strategize the heck out of how you're going to get this book out there and into the world so that you don't feel like you get into this slump of, I don't know what else to do. So as you are thinking about publishing your book, also be thinking about strategizing, and have a time or 2 or 3 where you have a strategy meeting. Maybe grab some of your closest friends and sit down and strategize together. Write out a dream board. What's your goal? What do you want to have happen? Even if it seems crazy, it's something to work toward. And that way, when you feel like you are in this rut when it comes to selling books, like it's kind of plateaued, you can go back to your goals. What are your goals? Have you kind of maxed out all of your options? And if not, then keep doing the things, keep doing more ideas that you collected during your strategy meeting or your strategy time where you yourself just thought of, here's all the ways that I can market and sell my book, and go from there. And then if you run out of ideas, again, grab some of your closest friends and ask them for ideas. But also there's a lot of really good resources out there, and one of the resources that I highly, highly recommend that I still am keeping in my back pocket, I have not run out of ideas yet or strategy just yet, and that's Sell Your Book Like Wildfire by Rob Eager. And I mean, so good, worth the purchase, worth reading before, worth reading during, and worth reading after, like if you feel like you get into a slump. So my 4 tips, my first one's kind of ridiculous. Don't publish 2 books at one time your first time around. Just a suggestion. Second is think about who's going to be editing. I'll have some suggestions below, but I definitely highly, highly recommend. You've worked so hard writing this book. make sure the edits are there. Make sure there's not misspelled words. Make sure there's not mispunctuations. I mean, there's only so much that you can do, and at the end of the day, you just have to be like, I did my best. But don't say you did your best yet until you've edited and gotten an editor. There's plenty of affordable ones. It's worth the investment. Do that. Do that. And think about, so number 4, think about formatting. Or I'm sorry, number 3, think about formatting. Just be prepared for it. Just know that that's going to take some legwork and some time and some energy. And if you need any helps or tips or anything, I'm here. Feel free to reach out. And then the last thing, number 4, is marketing. And that really goes back to number 1 about why I said I highly recommend don't try to publish 2 books at one time, because I'm trying to sell 2 books at one time, and that's really hard. It's hard enough to sell 1 book at a time. Trying to sell more than 1 is really hard when it's your first time around. It just makes it all a little bit more challenging. And hey, if you like the challenge, go for it. I'm a mom of 4. I don't got time for all of the challenges. So writing a book is enough challenge for me. So go ahead and if you found this video to be helpful, this feels so weird that I'm saying this. I'm one of those YouTubers. Please click like, but also leave some comments. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to hit me up. Weird. And also my next video, I want to share with you, go a little bit more deeper into strategizing for marketing your book, because that is something I'm super passionate about and excited about, because it's about you taking your message and getting it out into the world. And there's nothing that excites me more than helping people do that. So I've got some ideas in my back pocket and just wanted to share them with you. So that will be the next video. Thanks for watching thus far. And that's it. So here we go. I don't know.